All right, this is my video for 5D. So I'm going to be talking about the growth goal of providing students with opportunities for them to talk about themselves. I was a little bit surprised when I did these surveys that this was one that I needed a little bit more help with. I really pride myself on having great relationships with students, but I realized through doing those checklists that I do that kind of in a informal way, and I check in with kids like in the hallway and as I see them and at lunch, but I really wanted to find a way to do that in a very structured way in class so that I'm really actually providing that opportunity for everyone, because when it's informal, you're not really making sure that it's for all students. So the video that I posted, two things in it kind of came in from the Marzano stuff. One is what I call a soft start. I implemented that just so that I could have intentional time with my kids to talk to them. Sometimes that soft start is like the time that we spend doing something more structured. But I also have started to realize that my kids are very open to talking during the little 5-minute interval that's like, we're starting in 5 minutes. And so that was a silly one, the first part. But it was students just talking about this word they made up and where it came from. And we were talking about my banned words list. These are not like inappropriate words. They're like silly, goofy words that they use too much. And I just thought it was a good moment of rapport with kids. But that 5 minutes of like buffer time does give students opportunities for them to talk about themselves. I think for that kind of soft start though, even if I don't do something super structured, I think that an improvement I could make is maybe having like a checklist of like, have I checked in with these kids? So like my roster, and I can go through and like check off and be like, yes, I did check in with these kids. And so I can really make sure like, oh, not in just an academic way, but in that soft start, I can go around and not get busy doing my own thing, or even kind of getting caught up in the group of like louder, more rambunctious kids. I can really make sure, okay, I at some point in this 5 minutes checked in this week with all of my students. The second timestamp is the second part of class, and this was actually an opener. I have done this on Tuesdays just because it does take time. I have a warm-up, so this is now Talk to Me Tuesdays. It's on both of our warm-ups for both my classes. It's kind of fun since I teach 2 classes back to back. They get to kind of get a double, so they get a different one every Tuesday. So they get 2 opportunities on Tuesdays. So the one that I showed was one they hadn't done before, which was this or that. So far I've done mostly just like favorites questions, things like that. Tell me about a time when. And so this is where students just like very easily with a hand symbol tell me which thing they prefer on a slide. It like gives us opportunities to talk. This one in particular came back up several times because there was like cats or dogs, and we've ended up talking a lot about kids' pets. I've realized they're really passionate about their pets. One thing they are earning for if they improve on their next test grade is they are earning pet like slideshow, where they can send in pictures and we can do a pet slideshow. So those opportunities are really great. That 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes to do the Talk to Me Tuesday is actually an opportunity for them to talk about themselves. That's not just, hey, how are you doing? Or like, oh, how was your weekend? It's like structured. So some strengths, positives that I saw is like not shutting down every student conversation. I think it's really easy to do as teachers to like, structure is so important. I think structure is really important, but I think that was positive. I liked the conversations we were having. I thought they were fun, in both clips. Like one was more organic and one was more planned. So I thought there was a lot of participation. I thought like you could tell the kids, I thought, were like kind of happy and into it. Some improvements I would make. I think that sometimes a hand signal is good, and I use it in different ways, but I noticed in not only this video, but several other videos, like it's easy to just kind of scan the room and not be super specific on like, did I see every single person or did I acknowledge people? So I think in the future, something I can improve on is like some of the Talk to Me Tuesdays, like tell your partner and then have your partner like share out. Or popsicle sticks. I use popsicle sticks a lot for calling on them in class, so I could use them in that way. I also think paper or writing on their desk, we have whiteboard desks, could be a great way, so I could actually go around and see and comment to kids who I know are never going to speak out loud. So I think one of the big things was like making sure that I keep it on track, but also like make sure that every student has that opportunity to talk about themselves. And then just kind of integrating stuff into lessons. I do have some things in lessons, definitely in social studies more, and ELA and creative writing, but just thinking a little bit more in a structured lesson, that it doesn't have to be this like outside other thing. The only one I've implemented so far that isn't seen in the videos because it was just this last week, is a connection point. So every week in social studies, they have like a connection point thing that they do now where they have to relate what we're learning about in social studies to themselves through a specific question. So also just blending that. Sometimes I think like, oh, when students have opportunities to talk to themselves, it's a little more removed from the lesson, and doing a bit of both would be really good. So overall, I thought it was a good picture of my real classroom. I really wanted to be careful in doing all of these videos to not like stage the perfect lesson. So I just had someone come in like for a random week, and like these are the things that I've worked on implementing this year, the Talk to Me Tuesday, all that. So I think those things went well, but I definitely think maybe a little more structure and response, wait time, and the mode of response, how they're responding so that all students are participating and I'm engaging with them on that level, are things I need to work on.